This is my hardcore world, and this is one of the best scenes in cinematic history. And in this episode, I'm going to be attempting to start building this entire bridge and area in my hardcore world, where we have survived for almost 1,000 days building a Dwarven empire. And just before we jump in to the video, I would really appreciate it if you could go ahead and hit that sub button, as it really helps me out, and so does hitting that like button, as we're on a mission to see if we can try and hit 10,000 subs before the end of this year. However, let's get right into it. Strap yourself in, guys, because you're in for a ride. Thought I would showcase this very quick area that we've worked on a little bit off camera, as you can see right now over this footage. I've basically started the walkway which is going to lead in to the rest of the Dwarven city. Now, I haven't exactly planned this 100%, as I know that this path is going to curve round and is going to kind of go up to the main entranceway, and then we're also going to possibly open this area up into the second part of the city, and then have this lead off into the third part. So I haven't planned it 100%, but what I do know is that we're going to work on the entranceway, which is over here. Now, obviously, as you can tell, I'm very close to bumping my head on the ceiling. So the first thing we're going to do is get to work by raising the ceiling by about 10-15 blocks, using none other than our trusty TNT. And yes, I'm very much aware that if we're being a lot specific, the dwarves in Moria weren't technically known to use explosives. I know that I'm trying to stick as close to the lore as possible, but please forgive me, guys, because mining out areas takes a long time, so using TNT just means that I'm using less time to mine and more time to build. Oh, when in the history of this channel has blowing up TNT ever gone right? Anyway, let's just go for it. I don't know how well this is going to turn out. Oh. Well, that could be slightly problematic. Oh, well. Oh. Well, that was bloody close. Okie dokie then. So we've finally dug out a bit more of a segment of the future ravine. However, it has taken me about 6 hours to do that, so we're going to take a break and go and actually do some work in making progress towards getting the beacon. And also, to the one person who a couple of weeks ago commented on the fact that I placed too many torches, this is what the world looks like with default lighting. This is what it looks like when I don't place too many. Well, obviously there's a lot of torches here, but if I didn't place torches, the whole place would be dark. And despite the fact that I actually do prefer the game in the lower lighting, as it gives way more better ambience, unfortunately I have to... What the heck? Really not quite sure what happened there, but the water just disappeared. So now we've got another one just in case we fall and die. We can use that to break our fall. However, as I was saying, I play on the brightest, or one of the brightest settings within the shaders, just so you guys can have a better opportunity to see what we're working on and just see the world, instead of having to strain and hurt your eyes. Anyway, let's get on with building this villager breeder. Now, I have actually run out of golden carrots, so I am just very quickly going to go and trade for some more. Well, I totally forgot to hit record, and that took way longer than expected. Anyway, shear the ship. Here, sheppy. Oh, lots of wool off that one. Well, we're back up in the top, where we're going to build the villager breeder, and I'm building a breeder designed by an individual named Zinji, and I know that a couple of people have made their own versions of this, and I also shared a version of this in my very earliest hardcore series, which you can no longer find on YouTube because I hidden it from the world. So let's just go ahead and get to work in building this. Then we sleep in the bed. Then we sprint back to make sure that they've successfully seated in the spawner breeder thing. Hey, there we are. So now all we need to do is grab some potatoes and this will start doing its thing. Some patates gotten. Throw the patates in the aquarium thing. They should, in theory, start doing the breedy breed. Hey, there we are. Again, we don't want to be weird about it, so we just run down here, and already it's popping out babas. A success. Right, now we can move on to getting the system built up so that we can move them temporarily into this building, because this building over here, long term, is going to be for farmers to be set up to be traded in. This is where we're going to come for food in the long run, and all of these are basically going to be sort of golden carrots on the bottom layer. Then we can sell potatoes on the middle layer, and then maybe carrots on the top layer or something. I'm not quite sure how we're going to lay it out just yet, but that's the plan. And now we just actually have to get on with moving them in and also waiting for them to grow up a little bit. So there's going to be a little bit of AFK, and then we might as well go and do a little bit more digging whilst we wait for that. I actually decided to just try and get this guy moved across whilst we wait for the other guy to grow up. And let's see how well this goes. Oh no! Oh! There we go. And whilst we've got the time, we'll replant the rest of the sugarcane that we had stored up from the farm. Well, that's all the lanes filled up, at least, so we can now move on to the next little job. Suppose we'll turn all of our sugarcane into fermented spider eyes. Then let's take a mushroom, and let's go and make a very quick mushroom farm somewhere. And we've dug out a small room near our nether portal, so let's just place down 2 redstone torches just to add a tiny bit of light, and we'll come and check back on that shortly. And I interrupt our first broadcast with our first adult, so fingers crossed. Oh, fingers crossed this should pull the adult out and not one of the babies. Well then, now this cannot fail. It failed. Well, I got it to work by expanding it by 1 block. Weird bug, but it worked. Well, it's time to start this all over again. Oh, we got a looting 1. We just need that to be looting 3. Well, 2 minutes later, we didn't get looting 3, however, we did get efficiency 5, and I thought, I'm not going to pass up on that because we do have other villagers we can bring over, so we're going to go and do that. But now, I have an efficiency 5 guy that will have to zombify and try and get down to a 1 emerald trade, but that means we can get efficiency 5 on every single tool that we've got, upgrading them and upgrading the speed just a little bit, but still useful. All of that just for 1 enchanting book, which we'll probably never have to purchase again. Seemed a bit ridiculous, but after about 10 minutes we finally got it, so we can go ahead and put this on our sword. And what's the bet? So this is probably too expensive. Oh no, it's not, huh? It's got looting 3 on it, so now we can head back into the nether and get some wither skulls. But not before topping up our food supply. Now, in the last series, when I did this, I said that I was never going to go and kill wither skeletons again without making a wither skeleton farm. However, looking up on YouTube at some basic farm setups, it just seems like far too much effort. So we're not going to be building a wither farm in this episode. I'm just going to be suffering through attempting to try and get 3 wither skulls within a reasonable time. Oh, I can already sense this is going to be a fun time. Oh, it's taking a while. Well, hey, we finally got our first wither skull. Would have been great if we got our second one straight away. Well, hey, the second one, it only took us like another 20 minutes. And literally the next one we killed, we got our third. So we can now head back. Now we just need to go ahead and craft some some potions of strength. First, nether warts to make awkward potions. And then blaze powder should make potions of strength, in theory. And then just some redstone dust to extend the period. Even though the last time we did this, we annihilated him in a few seconds, you can never be too careful. And now we come down to our mines so that we can cheese him a little bit. And I think here will do. So all we need to just very quickly do is just dig out a small area so that we can build him. So again, skulls, drink, eat. And drink, eat our apple. And And there we are. We now have our very first Nether Star. Anyway, can I also just point out that it took 98 wither skeletons to get those skulls? Grab some obsidian on the way up because we needed a little bit more to finish off the beacon. And now all to do is head into here, and there we are. There's the beacon recipe. I almost don't want to make it. I almost feel like the Nether Star should go in a thing, but there we are. We now have our very first beacon in this world. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some iron blocks together, or some sort of blocks together, so that we can go back to the beginning where our entrance is and start digging out the next area with our new beacon. A very quick intermission. I actually decided we needed to get some iron blocks, so we actually need 2.5 rows of iron ingots in order to make enough blocks to complete the beacon, so we can get haste 2 and make this as fast as humanly possible. Well, we've finally been AFKing for a few hours and we've got a bunch of iron blocks, so we can go ahead and build our very first beacon right down there, right where we're going to need it. So all we need to do is just hoppity doppity down. Oh, I didn't get my math correct. Back in a second. And back to the top. There's the last one, and just put the beacon down. Oh yeah, I forgot. We need to dig a hole in the roof. I'll be back in a second. Well, we got the beaconator and bring home the beacon. And I accidentally fell a few blocks and didn't clutch like an MLG pro. Flav, if you're watching this, you thought pickaxe went burr before. Now pickaxe goes super burr. Turns out efficiency 5 really does make a difference on a pickaxe. Oh well, let's go ahead and get on and time-lapse this and get it done. So I'll see you guys in a jiffy. Well, we've finally done digging out the area, and I also went ahead and built this little bridge, otherwise known as Durin's Bridge, because Durin's Bridge holds a particularly fond memory in my heart. Growing up as a kid, if you haven't seen Season 1, this bridge where Gandalf fights the Balrog brought me to tears as a child. It was the first movie scene that I really watched and really took to heart. Like, the music and the score and everything about it really made me emotional, so I really want to include it in my Dwarven kingdom. So let's go gather some materials and then we'll talk over what we're going to do in terms of design. I swear to God, I was just messing around. I was in this kind of limbo situation where I was just kind of waiting around and not really sure what to do. And I was just messing around shooting a couple of arrows that I had in my inventory, and then we ended up getting the sniper duel achievement where you kill a skeleton from at least 50 meters away. So yeah, I just thought I'd document that. So after much deliberation, I've actually realised that there is a couple of things we could do. If we actually come up here and dig straight through around about this point, we should come out pretty much where the entranceway is. So let's just go ahead and give it a try. So that actually panned out really, really well. Now, the only thing I wanted to try and do was see if we could centralize it. So let me do some counting and I'll be back in a second. That means that this right here is the center block. So we can go ahead and just cover this up temporarily. Then just dig straight through here. We just dig this out here just so we have a rough idea where we are. But for now, we now at least have a very basic entranceway into the city, which we can decorate. And my brain works in really funny ways, because at this point I actually took a break from working on our entranceway because I had a sudden stroke of inspiration on how to design and build our memory room, or what we're going to dub the Hall of Memories. And this is basically the hall which we're going to dedicate to all the people that subscribe on Twitch and become a member here on YouTube, as well as all of our milestones and everything else in this world that we ever achieve is going to be stored in here. So we got to work digging it out. we're actually down at what I'm dubbing the Hall of Memories, and I'm sure we can think of a better name for this as a community. But the whole point of this is to serve as an area where we can just give thanks to the people that are contributing by becoming a member or a subscriber over on the Twitch page. So I am actually going to go ahead and place one down, and this one is for Damien. Thank you so much for joining the YouTube membership. And then if we head down to the bottom, we're going to go ahead and put one in here for Malik, who has become a Twitch sub. I want to stress to you guys again, like I said in the last video, contributing to me financially, so it's not a necessity, but it's just a way for me to say thank you to everybody that has actually contributed in that manner. I would finish off by building a bunch of pillars to make this entrance hallway feel a little bit more grand. Now I actually think I need to push this wall back like a few more blocks, just so that the gaps actually make sense, because I didn't want to push them too close together. However, let's just go ahead and build the first pillar so you can see exactly the design that we're going for, and you can kind of get a sense of the overall look. There you are, there's the finished pillar. Now, it's not the most grand pillar in the world, but I kind of like it. I think it looks cool. I think the only thing I need to add is kind of like a chain, so that it looks like it's connecting up with the two pillar, like the two stone fences in the middle. But this seems like a good size. I didn't want to make it too thick. Now, those that remember in season 1, I actually did like a bunch along the front as like a defensive thing, but I actually didn't particularly like the design overall, whereas this one I'm much happier with it. So we're gonna go with this. Now I just need to actually go ahead and rinse and repeat it a bunch more times. So you know what's gonna, you know what I'm gonna say, don't you? Go on, you say it for me. You put it in the comments. Time lapse time, yay! Well, that's looking pretty sick if I do say so myself. There's only one more tiny detail that I want to get done, and that is just building under this bridge. We just need to go ahead and use some of these stone stairs in order to try and make the bridge look more natural and give it a more natural curve. Let's check this out in the dwarf cam, guys. Whoa, just look at how good that looks. And that's gonna do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the episode. You guys are absolutely incredible for watching this video and helping to support the channel. Thank you to everybody, and a special thanks to all the YouTube members and the Twitch subs that are helping me and my family and helping support the costs of running the server, which there's going to be more news about that in the next week's episode, guys. But I would recommend that you jump in the Discord server if you want early access and to get on as soon as possible. It's not open yet, but it will be very, very soon. Like I said, news in the next episode. But that's going to do it. I'm sorry that it's been a particularly short episode. As you'll be more than aware, most creators like to pride themselves on doing bigger and better builds for their audiences, and I am no different than most other creators. I like to hold myself to very high standards. However, I've been putting a lot of effort into my relationships over the past 2 weeks and the multiplayer server, so unfortunately, doing big builds on this world has had to take a backseat. However, I am ramping up to bring you some insanely huge mega builds in the next couple of months, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled on the future episodes. Once again, thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!